And here we have arrived in the off-season. I think this is everyone's favorite part of any series, because these decisions that we make right here can shape our team going into the future. And first up, we're looking at player retirements. We see Vince Carter, Tyson Chandler, Trevor Ariza, Nene, Kyle Korver, Udonis Haslem, Rajon Rondo, J.R. Smith, Sean Livingston, Raymond Felton, Thabo Sefolosha, Channing Frye, Jared Dudley, Anthony Tolliver, Wilson Chandler, Jeff Green, Luke Mbamute, Courtney Lee, Dante Cunningham, Tyreek Evans, Jonas Urebko, Garrett Temple, John Jenkins, RJ Hunter. Andre Ingram retires. And then Hall of Fame inductees Vince Carter makes it to the Hall of Fame in the year of 2021. League meetings, everything was rejected here. I usually reject most of these just to keep the NBA like how it is currently. Usually seems the most realistic. Draft lottery, we were projected to have the 15th pick. And we got the 15th pick. The Kings have the first pick, OKC with the second, and the Chicago Bulls with the third pick. And staff signing. We have all our staff signed a 3-year contract still, and I didn't really want to make any changes here. We're a newer team, and having some staff continuity is probably the best thing. And the NBA draft. With the first pick, the Sacramento Kings go with Evan Mobley, the 7-foot power forward from USC. There'll be many in the media that will see this as a surprise pick by the Sacramento Kings. And then Jalen Green, pretty much the number one player ranked on most of the draft boards, goes second to the OKC Thunder. He's a 6'6" shooting guard. He's also from USC, so 2 USC guys go in the first 2 picks. Then we see Jalen Johnson, a 6'8" shooting guard from Duke. Really good size there for him. We'll have to see what he can do with Chicago. Pretty sure they still have Zach LaVine, so that should be an interesting lineup. And then Terrence Clarke, another 6'8" shooting guard. He goes to Denver. It appears Denver isn't doing so well since they traded Jamal Murray away to us. And with the 5th pick, the New York Knicks go with a 6'8" point guard, CADE Cunningham. And then I went ahead and simulated to our pick. And looking over some of our options, there was Brian Antoine, Isaiah Mobley, Isaiah Jackson, Wendell Moore Jr., and Jaden Springer for some of the top guys on the board at this point in time. We took a look at Brian Antoine. He had a lot of potential, decent inside scoring. And we took a look at Isaiah Mobley. He's a good inside scorer. He can shoot some threes. He's athletic. Isaiah Jackson. He has high potential, but not as good of a rebounder and defender that I would look for in a power forward. Wendell Moore Jr. was someone I was really interested in. He's projected to be a 75 overall. He's got pretty good height at 6'6". He was pretty athletic, had decent potential. And lastly, Jaden Springer, projected overall of 72, high potential, okay athleticism. Also had that good size of 6'6". Ultimately, we decided to go with Wendell Moore Jr. I really liked his overall skill set. He can shoot from outside. He can defend pretty well. He has pretty good potential. He's got good size with that 6'6" height that he's got. So I decided to go with him. He'll be a good role player off the bench for us. And here's the draft summary. I just scrolled through this really quickly. If you want to slow it down and look through that more, you can. See, Brandon Boston went to the Pelicans. Isaiah Todd went to the Suns. We got Wendell Moore Jr. He's a 75 overall. Jalen Suggs goes to the Wizards. Jaden Springer, one of the guys we were looking at, goes to the Clippers. And AJ Lawson goes to the 76ers. And then obviously we're going to go ahead and sign Wendell Moore Jr. Want to take a look at like what his actual ratings are a little bit here. He had higher potential than the scout had predicted that he would have, actually, so I was pretty excited about that. He's a pretty good 3-point shooter, good at free throws. His speed is pretty good. His perimeter defense is pretty good. I really like good defenders. That's something in my teams that I always really look for, is if my players can defend well. I'm a really defensive minded type of player. And team/player options. We signed Holiday and declined Winslow's and Iguodala's team options. And then Kawhi Leonard declines his player option. That's a big one. Qualifying offers. We had Bobo, TJ Leaf, and Josh Hart all here. I decided to extend a qualifying offer to Bobo and TJ Leaf and not to Josh Hart, because Josh Hart's market value was pretty much at that $4.36 million already. So if we did decide to re-sign him, we could just like choose our contract length basically for the same salary. And then looking at some of the big name free agents that are out there, we had quite a bit of cap room. It says -31 just because of like player holds and stuff, but we had quite a bit of cap room that we could sign at least one big name player. So there was Giannis, there was Kawhi Leonard, there was Paul George, Rudy Gobert, Steven Adams, Andre Drummond. Jonathan Isaac is a player that I really like, and he was projected to have a $15 million salary. De'Aaron Fox was a restricted free agent. Victor Oladipo was out there. I really like Oladipo. He is a really good defender, and again, that's something I really look for. Giannis had a bunch of offers. The Spurs were currently leading, followed by the Bulls, Pistons, Bucks. I couldn't believe that some of these teams offered him like a 1-year, $5.72 million contract. Like, why would he take that? And then looking at Kawhi, the Kings were currently in the lead for him, followed by the Hornets, Clippers. The Raptors wanted to try and get him back. So it was looking like both Giannis and Kawhi kind of wanted to leave their current teams. And obviously I felt like I needed to at least extend an offer out there to both of them. So I gave Giannis a max contract with a player option and a no trade clause. I felt like I had to like pretty much give him like anything that I could to see if we could sign someone with a big skill set like that. And looking at our offer, that put us in third based on his rankings. So we probably weren't going to get Giannis. I also decided to offer a contract to Kawhi. Same type of deal. Player option, max contract, no trade clause. And looking at his interest, we were in first. I was really excited. I was like, holy shit, we might actually be able to get Kawhi Leonard. Like, if we could get Kawhi Leonard, that would be huge for us. Then looking at Paul George, he was also looking at leaving the Clippers. Maybe they had some problems there. We don't know. So the Utah Jazz were in the lead for him, followed by the Knicks, the Timberwolves, the Pacers. And ultimately, I decided to also extend an offer to Jonathan Isaac. I felt like we could get him on a cheap deal. And if we couldn't get the other 2 star players that we extended a contract to, maybe we could at least get Jonathan Isaac. And obviously, we were the only ones who had offered on Jonathan Isaac so far. So we had the option to get Kawhi or Jonathan Isaac. Initially, it looked like we could maybe sign both of them, but then eventually we did have to match an offer that we got for Bulbul, which will be coming up pretty quick. But I was super excited that we got Kawhi. And as long as nothing happened here where he like backed out or something, we would have Kawhi. Then you see Bulbul, he got a 3-year, $35.91 million offer from the Atlanta Hawks. Obviously, he has a ton of potential. He played amazing for us. We're obviously going to match that contract since he's a restricted free agent. But we did have a very solid starting lineup after that first initial signings right there. And then all we had to do was focus on our bench. So first up, I wanted to bring back TJ Leaf. So that's exactly what I did. I offered him a 3-year contract, as well as we wanted to bring back Justice Winslow. Obviously, he wouldn't be a starter anymore now that we had Kawhi, but he would still be a good role player off the bench. He's young, he's 25, so I also offered him a 3-year contract. Both of those guys accepted those. And then we signed Daniel Tice to a 2-year, $9.77 million contract. He would also be a good role player off the bench as a backup center. We also offered to Boban and Avery Bradley. And then we signed Danny Green to a minimum contract. And we signed Lance Stevenson to a minimum contract as well. We also offered to Ersan Ilyasova just to have another veteran on the team. He can stretch the floor very well. And then looking at some of the big signings, Kawhi Leonard goes to the Spurs. That's an interesting one. Kawhi Leonard goes to us. Giannis goes to the Spurs. Giannis to the Spurs, that's an interesting one. De'Aaron Fox goes to the Magic. That's a really interesting signing right there. The Pistons got Steven Adams. Drummond decides to go back to the Cavs. Jonathan Isaac goes to the Grizzlies. Oladipo goes back to the Pacers. I feel like that's not a bad move for him because he's really flourished in his time with the Pacers. The Celtics decided to re-sign Gordon Hayward. They got him for a pretty decent deal. He's still an 84 overall at 31. Michael Porter Jr. goes to the Knicks. They signed him to a pretty big deal. If he can stay healthy, he has a lot of potential. DeMarcus Cousins, who was on our team for a little bit last season, he goes to the Hornets on a $11 million per year contract. And Derrick Rose goes to the Pistons. Aldridge to the Pistons. They signed some interesting players this offseason. Obviously, we re-signed Bulbul. Robert Williams, who was on our team for a little while, he goes to the Bucks on a 3-year, $31 million contract. And then we see Julius Randle goes to the Jazz. Obviously, it didn't work out with him on the Knicks. RJ Barrett re-signs with the Knicks on a pretty big contract. Markelle Fultz goes to the Pelicans. Donovan Mitchell gets signed to the Raptors. He was injured with a broken left ankle, so I'm pretty sure that took his value down a little bit, and he only got a $22 million salary. Goran Dragic, who played with us for a little while, he goes to the Clippers. He'll be a pretty good role player for them. Then we see Mike Conley. He goes back to the Jazz. It's probably a good move for him. Tim Hardaway goes to the Lakers. That's an interesting signing for them. Kuzma goes to the Pelicans. So the Pelicans just decide to go and get every Lakers player. And then looking at player progression, Kawhi stays at a 96. Jamal Murray goes up 1. Bobo went up 4. Wiseman went up 3. Holiday goes up 3 overall. I really like Holiday off the bench. He's really good. Malik Beasley goes up 1. TJ Leaf goes up 2. Julius Silva goes down 1. Marjanovic goes down 1. Stevenson goes up 1. And then we decided to untap Bulbul's potential. He goes from an A- to an A. Obviously, Bulbul is like one of our main players going into the future. And then we decided to send Jamal Murray to perimeter defense, just because I feel like that's his weakest area is defense. And looking at our team here, Malik Beasley, Wendell Moore, Danny Green at shooting guard. Obviously, Kawhi. I'm super excited about that. And then Justice Winslow backing him up. Lance Stevenson. I really like Lance Stevenson. I'm glad we got him. He's very versatile, so we'll definitely be able to use him off the bench. Then Bulbul, TJ Leaf, Ilyasova. Got a lot of options at power forward. James Wiseman. He's going to be a star for us. He had a pretty good rookie season last year. Daniel Tice, Boban. Boban, just with that height alone, he's a beast. And that pretty much wraps up this off season. I'm really excited to see what we can do with Kawhi Leonard. I feel like there's no way this team cannot make the playoffs next season. And we will be taking on the Chicago Bulls in our next episode. That'll be the first game of this new season. And anyways, that's going to wrap up this video. If you made it this far, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.